April was pretty hot, both literally and figuratively, because I watched more than 20 films and 2 series, and most of them were great, so I can't wait to share the best with you.
I'm gonna try something. I want to see if you stay together or if you dissolve into molecules.
Hello, Cinefam, and welcome to Awesome April, where I watched so many awesome things, and I'm going to be sharing the 10 best movies I watched in April. So let's start with number 10, Lisa Frankenstein. This is the debut directorial of Zelda Williams, daughter of one of my most favorite actors, Robin Williams. I have to admit that this was incredibly stylized since the first second. The passion, the love, the vision that she has for this project, it shows. Zelda went for a really quirky vibe, so she played a lot with vibrant colors, over the top performances, and dark humor, obviously. Particularly interesting to me was the incredibly sweet performance by Cole Sprouse, who looks a lot like a young Johnny Depp to me. And not just looks, he carries the enigma and charisma here. Look, this is primarily a teen flick, but it's not just that. There's so much more to it. It's praiseworthy for its atmospheric quality and for the outlandish magic it is. From onset to climax, it reminded me of Jennifer's Body like 11 times. But that's obvious because Diablo Cody, the writer of Lisa Frankenstein, also wrote Jennifer's Body. Upon all that, the vibe is very Tim Burton. So if you're a fan of that kind of thing, this is it for you, my friend. On number 9, I have Earth by Deepa Mehta. Amir Khan is so brilliant in this one as Ice Candy Man, and he probably remains one of Amir's most underrated characters. Nandita Das as the young Aya is highly impressive too. This significant theme that Earth deals with, the communal hatred and violence, is extremely well translated through this film. It goes on to show how hatred is learned behavior. So the direction is very matured here. Upon everything, the story and chaos through the POV of Lenny is just fresh, riveting, and sad. So people, pay attention. Credit goes to Bapsi Sidhwa for writing the novel Cracking India in the first place, which was haunting yet had a beam of hope. Now let's move to number 8. It's a 2018 Marathi film called Ajji. Ajji is grandma in Marathi for anyone who didn't know that. This is a harrowing film and the tone is set from the first 10 minutes. Or haan, a lot of you have been complimenting Vikas Kumar for what he did in Netflix's Kala Pani, but what he did here in very much limited time, that was more than just commendable. He was convincing, and so was Abhishek Banerjee. He plays a tyrant, a sick rapist who knows nothing more than how to exploit people, and he played that to perfection. This film, it is a rape revenge drama, and I don't like that idea. But I think somehow there has to be a regular conversation on what the consequences of these transgressions are. And the most effective way of popularizing and initiating these talks is through cinema. So these revenge dramas could at least invoke something in all these people. That's just my opinion. Ajji might make you uncomfortable, but that's surely for good. I guess by now unconventionality has gotten synonymous with Devashish Makhija, the director of Ajji. Next up, I have lined Do Aur Do Pyar on number 7, a lovely little film which is gonna go into my list of top 10 films this year. It has got everything that you look for in a rom-com. In fact, Bollywood में जैसे rom-coms का सूखा पड़ा था नहीं? But with this unbiased treatment of infidelity, Sheersha Guha Thakurta has literally shown a new direction. The climax was probably the most difficult to tackle, but they did it very sweetly. So overall, this was the mature yet light-hearted film I was looking for. और हाँ, please make some way for Prateek Gandhi in comedy and romance, please. नंबर 6 पे आते हैं मंटो साहब, यानी कि 2018 में रिलीज़ हुई फिल्म मंटो, फ्लॉलेसली डायरेक्टेड बाय नंदिता दास. जितने बोल्ड, प्रोवोकेटिव और ऑनेस्ट साहब के नज़्म और अफसाने हैं, बिल्कुल उतनी ही ये फिल्म भी है. चाहे लीड रोल में नवाजुद्दीन सिद्दीकी को देखें या फिल्म में चंद लम्हों के मेहमान पूरब कोहली, विजय वर्मा या दिव्या दत्ता को देखें, स्क्रीन पर 4 चांद तो सबने लगाए हैं. तो अगर मेरी तरह आप भी मंटो साहब के टोबा टेक सिंह या ठंडा गोश्त या काली सलवार से वाकिफ हैं, या खासकर अगर नहीं हैं, तो ये फिल्म आप मेरे कहने पर एक बार ज़रूर देखें. फिर लिटरेचर की यादें इतनी सताई मुझे कि फाइनली डेड पोएट सोसाइटी देख ली और क्या बताऊँ, मतलब रॉबिन विलियम्स की जितनी फिल्में मैंने देखी हैं मुझे सारी पसंद है, पर इस फिल्म में मेरे सबसे फेवरेट वो नहीं थे, ये हैं। ये हम सबके अंदर छुपे बचपन के उस सपने को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं जिन्हें हम में से बहुत लोगों ने मार दिया। आई होप ये रियलाइज़ करने के बाद आप किसी का भी सपना तोड़ने से पहले कम से कम 10 बार सोचेंगे, एंड आई थिंक इसलिए ये फिल्म काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है। सो ऑल द ड्रीमर्स इन द वर्ल्ड, I love you and I hope you achieve everything you've ever dreamed of. नंबर 4 पर आई हैव नेटफ्लिक्स अमर सिंह चमकीला, और इसके बारे में बड़ी डिटेल में मैंने अपने रिव्यू में बात करी है, जिससे आपने थोड़ा बहुत प्यार तो दिया ही है। खैर, दिस इज़ अ वेरी ऑनेस्ट एंड स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड फिल्म जिसमें दिलजीत और परिणीति ने उनके करियर बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंसेस दिए हैं। बहुत ही सिंपल स्टाइल है फिल्म की और इमोशन से भरी है। बायोपिक है। अगर आप भी मेरी तरफ फिल्म देखने से पहले चमकीला को नहीं जानते थे, then just know that this is a story worth knowing. Finally, here's our top 3. So on top 3, I have Denis Villeneuve's Dune duology that I gulped down in a single day. So you can imagine how addictive they must have been. It was a hot summer day and I drank the most amount of water I've had in my entire fucking life on that day. Cool. Let's talk part 1. It was artistic, stylish, and I love the storytelling, so I'm placing it in a higher order as compared to the sequel. 2 was more of a unique blend of mass and class, and a lot of action and goosebump moments. And please let me say this. Timothy, with his acting choices and also a bit of a luck, is landing this widespread variety of fascinating roles and plays each one of them to perfection. Therefore, he above everyone is the most interesting young actor of today, and I am dying to see what he's gonna do next. So without fail, all hail. Let's make the list hotter, and on number 2, I've got the Before trilogy. And don't kill me because I watched it so late. I'd have been more late if it wasn't for this guy. Thank you so much for pulling the strings, Satyajit. This trilogy, it was insane. Feels like it is made for me because it's totally my kind. I love it when I get to see people talking. Personally, I don't feel that there could be anything more intimate than a shared conversation, and these films just visualize that thought of mine. So thank you, Richard Linklater. Thank you, Ethan Hawke. Thanks, Julie Delpy, for this gem. First one was like a dream, so soft and subtle, yet so evocative, that I couldn't wait at all to see the next part, which left me yearning like I was fucking Majnu. And yeah, the climax of Before Sunset, just so you know, that just felt so raw to me, and the song was just beyond perfection. This movie was entirely brilliant, and I got no words up until now. I only got emotions and moments that these two films gave me. But Before Midnight, everyone, in my humble opinion, is the best one in the trilogy and obviously the most important. The way Ethan and Julie have aged in real and in these films, it's fucking crazy. It's so great. I mean, it shows that loving the same person all our lives could be difficult, but that's what love is. It is hard. And in the end, what really stayed with me, obviously along with Jesse and Celine, are the old arguing couple in the train, the road poet, the Volta that Celine wrote for Jesse, what we lose if we are lazy, and a lot more. And yeah, if you didn't know this, let me state this here. Ethan and Julie wrote the screenplays for the last two films along with Linklater. So that was a joy witnessing the impeccable craft of people who are a bit of a genius. And finally, after much thought, I've got Pyasa on number 1, and it was really the best thing I've watched not just in April but in a while. The detailing and precision and the craftsmanship and the artistry in this one just blew my mind. This was made in 1957. Guru Dutt directed, produced, and starred in Pyasa as the lead. The sophistication with which he tackled ambition, desire, fate, consumerism, and the harsh reality of society is absolutely bonkers to me. The songs are all made to stay with us eternally. The symbolic and evocative shots and imagery in Pyasa are food for discourse, obviously for some other day. But this is a masterpiece. End of topic. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with a review soon because I can't be away from cinema and cinephiles for long. So see you soon. Subscribe if you like, and I'll be eternally grateful to you for 1K subscribers. But Cinefam, I want more. Do I deserve it? Let me know in the comments. Lots of love to y'all, and thank you so much for watching again.